Hi, I'm Ruth Harrigan. I am a New York City beekeeper.
Hi, I'm Wally Blohm. I'm a New York City beekeeper. Been beekeeping for 45 years.
So here we have a Langstroth hive. This is the most traditional hive that we use today. The bottom are the brood chambers, and that's where the queen lays all her eggs and where all the bees live. And the top one is called the super, and this is where they keep all the honey. What's inside a hive?
So you have your frames, okay, which the bees build up, draw out the wax for you. That's where they store all their honey that is going to survive them through the winter. It's also the frames is where the queen's going to lay her eggs, okay, and this way it produces. The queen can lay anywhere between 15 to 2,000 eggs a day. Average temperature inside the hive is between 94 and 96 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's how it's kept warm. Now sometimes we have, when it really gets hot and the bees have to cool down the hive, you'll see the whole front of the hive is loaded with bees on the outside, and what they're doing is pulling out some of the heat because it's too hot in there for the bees to survive, and the wax can start to melt.
The other bees that are inside the hive are the worker bees. Most people don't know that all the workers are actually female bees, and they all have stingers that are barbed, which means that when they sting you, it stays within you until you pull it out. So the worker bees go out, they forage for food, they collect all the nectar, water, pollen, and sap to make propolis. All four ingredients are essential in the beehive. And actually, most of the bees you see outside are worker bees because they're doing all the work. And it's at the later stage in their lives that they're actually out foraging. The third type of bee inside the hive are the drones. They're all the males. And males are there to mate with a virgin queen. That's his only role in the beehive.
Not bad.
Do you want to talk about the drones? Or should I continue?
Go ahead.
Now, inside the hive where there's about 50,000 bees, only about 200 are drones. And in the summer, they actually congregate in an area where all the drones from different apiaries are hanging out together, just waiting for that opportunity for a virgin queen to fly by. And to have a successful nuptial flight for the queen bee, she needs to mate with a minimum of 15 to 30 drones in order to have a nice diversity of bees inside the beehive.
Also, the queen, she has the right, okay, the control when she lays an egg, if it should be a worker bee or a drone bee. She can do that with the way she lays the eggs.
When she fertilizes the eggs, they become worker bees. And when she doesn't, it becomes a drone. So here at the Bayside Historical Society, located at Fort Totten, it is the perfect environment for bees. We've got lots of water sources for them. We have beautiful garden. We have a 100-year-old linden tree right near us. So here we're going to take a look inside the beehive. Oh, look at these girls. Okay.
I told you not to do that.
Wally's got the first sting of the season. Let's move it to the middle. Let's see if we can find the queen. That's always challenging.
Yeah.
But she is a little bigger than all the rest of the bees. She has a long torso so that she can lay her eggs in the bottom of each cell. Look here. Look at all this liquid that's glistening. That's honey. They're already starting to make honey. Now you're probably wondering, how is honey made? Well, it takes the first bee to go and collect the nectar from a flower. Then she has to come back and she has to regurgitate that to another bee. There's an enzymatic reaction that happens in the stomach that turns the nectar into honey. Then that second bee has to regurgitate it again to another bee. Then that bee will store it inside a cell, and it doesn't turn into honey until they fan most of the liquid out of it until there's about 16 to 19% moisture. That's when the nectar turns into pure honey. And in order to store it, the bees will coat it with beeswax. And the beeswax will keep it sealed until they're ready to eat it, and they'll just break it open and suck the honey right out. So even when you can't find the queen, when you see eggs and brood, it's a sign that the queen is in there. There it is, there's the brood.
So that's capped brood. There are eggs in there developing. Okay, probably in the next 4 or 5 days they'll hatch out.
Bees make these little queen cups. In the event that the queen is not producing, or if she died accidentally, they will quickly make a new queen bee. And queen bee is just another female bee that'll be in the hive that's fertile. All the other female bees, which are the worker bees, they're all sterile.
If a hive has overwintered on an experienced beekeeper, this is the time of year in the spring that if there's not enough room in the hive, the bees communicate with each other and they say, we got to look for a new home, that we have more space. And what they'll do is they'll send out scout bees to look in several different places for a good location for them to build a new home. Then we go into the summer, once the honey flow starts going, okay, and they pack this top super full of honey. So as beekeepers, we in the fall, usually around the end of June, because our honey flow season here in the New York area ends about the end of June, the beginning of July. So we like to pull the honey off, and whatever the bees bring in after that is for them. But we always make sure that we leave enough honey in the hive for them to survive through the winter. So we're looking at leaving them at least 60 pounds of honey inside the hive so that they can survive.
So from fall, we go right into the winter, and what happens then? Well, for one thing, all the worker bees are going to kick out the drones. Because they did not work all summer, all the honey is really reserved for the worker bees and their queen. So it's a brutal thing to do, but the drones will struggle, but at the end, the worker bees win. And what's left inside the hive in the winter is just the queen bee with her little cluster of worker bees. It's a true sorority in there in the wintertime.
Yes. So we also got to remember that 35% of all the food that we consume has to be pollinated by the honeybee. Honeybees are very, very beneficial to us. If we lose the honeybees, Einstein said within 10 years, there will be none of us left.
Well, everybody can help in saving the bees. It's really simple. Just plant a garden. It can be as small as a little herb garden on your terrace, or as big as you want it. You can plant vegetables and flowers. As long as there are flowers on them, the bees will be attracted to them and they will love you for it. So some of the easy things to plant are mint, catmint, lavender, aster, sunflowers. We have so many things that are so easy to grow. Cucumbers, squash, peppers. We can go on and on. Just about all the foods that you enjoy eating, you can plant in your garden and you will attract the bees.
So how can we find out more about what you guys are doing as beekeepers?
You can always find me on www.honeygrams.com. That's honeygrams.com.
And Wally, how can you be reached?
And my email is beevenom1. That's spelled BEEVENOM1 at gmail.com. Anytime.
You gotta be proud of yourself. You didn't need this book. All right.